it's Marissa. Today I'm going to talk about gate 5 as that's what the sun is transiting right now. So I'm going to talk about gate 5 from a human design and a Gene Keys perspective. So gate 5 is the gate of waiting. It's fixed rhythms. It is a generated gate. It connects to the 15. The 515 is the channel, and the channel is about being in the flow of life. So while the 15 is like the extremes, like you can't just have all roads without stop signs and things like that. So the 15 would be like the stop signs, and the 5 would be like the roads, I don't know if it's the best analogy, but sort of like that. So the 5 is waiting, but it's not just waiting. It's waiting as an active state. So while you're waiting if you're a projector, you're waiting to be invited or whatever it is, you're not just waiting, you're doing something active while you're waiting. So I actually have this gate in my design Mercury. So that's how it's about communication in Mercury. So it's about how my body is communicating, what my body wants to communicate, right? So anyways, this is a very powerful gate since it's a generated channel. And it's about being loving, because the 15, the other side, is a love gate. It's about loving, being in the flow of life. Now, it's logical. It's from the collective logic circuit. And if you have this gate, you're going to have fixed rhythms. It's very much about finding out how you're living and what your rhythms are, and not trying to change the rhythms, but trying to make them more fun or ritualize them or something of that nature. So now it's like about logical experimentation, because it's the next channel up from the 952 format channel for the logical circuitry. So it's like step-by-step logical waiting. And what you're waiting for is for the pattern to be correct. And once you're in that correct pattern, then everything can just flow. Or if you meet somebody with the 15, you get pulled into their extremes, you need to really watch out that you don't get pulled out of your flow and into other people's extremes. So, okay, what else do I have about this channel? It correlates to the right eye. And it's also threonine is the amino acid that it codes for. And threonine is, so basically what it's coding for is the light or lack of light that gets into your body. So, yeah, threonine. Sorry, I'm looking at my note real quick. Threonine determines the blueprint for how the cells trap light and convert it into energy. Okay, so if your rhythms are off, it's, everything has fixed rhythms. We have seasons, we have cell growth, there's everything. There's a cycle, there's a rhythm to everything, right? So trusting in the fixed rhythms and not trying to change it or force yourself out of them. But like I said, just try to make it more fun and kind of make small little rituals to your daily life. And yeah. So let me talk about, from a Gene Keys perspective, the shadow is impatience. So now impatience obviously is because you feel like you're waiting, and you're impatient, but it's, waiting as an active state. So do something that you love while you're waiting. And then it's like time doesn't exist. That's actually the siddhi, the highest state of this gate, is timelessness. Because when you're in your creative flow or whatever it is, doing something you love, thinking about being in love, like when you're in love with somebody and you're spending time with them, doesn't time just fly? Like, it's timeless. So So let's talk about the shadow. The shadow is impatience, and it's a collective fear that there is no underlying order to our universe. There is a repressive nature, which is pessimistic, and pessimistic, and the reactive nature is pushy. And now when you're in this shadow state of impatience, whether it's pessimism or pushy, well, probably more with the pessimism, because the pessimism is you're kind of turning it in on yourself rather than out on the world. So either way, I would still say that it might cause some challenges with nervous system dysregulation and loss of your natural rhythm and timing. And when you're in the shadow state, it's like you have a fear of time running out. So when you go into the gift, it's patience, and it's being in acceptance of your fixed rhythms and having patience and knowing what is going, you don't know what's going to come, but just having patience and trust in life that the right things will come. But you have to stay on your fixed rhythms. Don't try to change them. Just make them a little bit more fun. So now, the magnetism of aura draws in or limits the amount of light that touches our DNA. So that's really interesting for me to have this, and being off of my fixed rhythm, because I am a indirect light projector, and I had been working like a 8 to 5 job and 40 hours a week, and wound up being really nauseous and dizzy and all that, because I wasn't in my rhythm. I was caught up in the collective flow, right? I got caught up in the collective extremes and got taken out of my flow, basically. So just trusting in your own flow, in your own rhythm, and, making it fun. Be careful not to get pulled into anybody else's extremes. And like I said, acceptance is the first step to anything. Like any gene key that there's a shadow, acceptance is the first step. You have to accept the shadow to get to the gift. So let's see if I have if I wrote anything else down that I didn't speak about. Oh yeah, I just wanted to mention also that this channel, the 515, is in every living organism, except for plants only have the 15 and they don't have the 5. That's so interesting to me, because the 15 is like the magnetism, and so the plants still have the magnetism, but they don't have this fixed rhythm, which is super interesting to contemplate. So now, if you have the 5 and not the 15, you can actually, more than others, talk and communicate with plants, and and have a really interesting dynamic with plants. You can, everybody can, there's been those experiments where you say loving, kind words to plants and they grow, or you say terrible things and they don't grow as much. It's kind of, so with a 5, you really have a lot of impact on the plants and the nature of that. with this 3 in, right? So I'm not sure if I mentioned the code. It's in the codon ring of light, and its programming partner is the 35, and that is about, the 35 is about change. So fixed rhythms and changes. Interesting, right? It's like 2 extremes. It's kind of same like with the channel, the 515. You could look at the 15 as extremes, right? Let's see, what else? So the 5, it binds all living forms into one great pulse of life. And that is allowing for a stabilized environment. So the 15 collectively would be the global aura. I'll actually read the lines of the gate 5 as well. So line 1 is called perseverance. 2 is inner peace. That's what I have. 3 is compulsiveness. 4 is hunger. 5 is joy. 6 is yielding. So yeah, while you're waiting as an active state, you're kind of perfecting things because it's logical, it's step by step, it's testing. So it's kind of like repetition and getting clear on things and doing it over and over until that pattern is established. And then you can have this joy of being in the flow of life and this beautiful, amazing feeling of timelessness when you're in love with another person or with what you're doing, or however it may show up for you. I wanted to actually read from Karen Curry Parker's Quantum Human Design as well. I just like to give as many different perspectives as possible. So gate 5 in Quantum Human Design is called consistency. Don't mind me, I'm just reading from the book. So the challenge is to learn to craft order, habits, and rhythm that support alignment, connection, and the flow of life force energy, and the fulfillment of purpose. To become skilled at anything, in tune with consistent habits and alignment that you support your growth and evolution no matter what. Aligning with natural order and staying attuned to the unfolding of the flow of the natural world. So that's the challenge, right? She asks some journal questions. What do I need to do to create habits that fuel my energy and keep me vital and feeling connected to myself and to source? What habits do I have that might not be serving my highest expression? How can I change those habits? What kind of environment do I need to cultivate to support my rhythmic nature? The affirmation is, consistency gives me power. When I am aligned with my own natural rhythm and the rhythm of life around me, I cultivate strength and connection with Source, and I am a beacon of stability and order. The order I hold is the touchstone, the returning point of love, that is sustained through cycles of change. The rhythms I maintain set the standard for compassionate action in the world. And like I said, we are grounded in the earth as we're transiting the 5, because the programming partner is the 35. So that's where we're grounded. And in the 35 is called experience in Quantum Human Design. So what experiences and stories from your own life do you have to share with others? Write a story about one of your favorite adventures you've experienced in your life. What did you learn? And how has that shaped who you are? Oh, wow. I'm so glad I just read that, because Mercury is communication, and that's where I have this 5. So And I do have a lot of life experiences, and that's what I did at my job too. As a recovery specialist and a support worker, I did talk about my life experiences a lot to help others get over their challenges with mental health and addictions as well. So I love that, and I hope to continue enlightening people with my life experiences. So I'm really glad I just read that, because I hadn't exactly thought about it in that way. I thought about my 13 in my personality Mercury, about talking about stories of the past. But I guess it's a double whammy for me in some kind of way. Yeah, so that is the nature of the 5th gate in Human Design and Gene Keys. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you with the next transit in the Gate 26.